All right. How are you guys today?
Good.
Good. All right. So whoops, I don't need to do that yet. Let's look at the chat problem. What's attached to the X?
One eighth.
Okay. How is it attached? Adding, subtracting, multiplying, or dividing?
Multiplying.
Multiplying.
Okay. If I was to draw a picture of this, I've got 1/8 X, and over here I have 3.5. Okay. I don't want 1/8 X. I want 1X, right? So how many of these do I need to make 1? 8 of them. Good, Bella. So I'm going to multiply this side by 8. And if I do this side, what do I have to do to the other side?
Multiply by 8.
The exact same thing.
12. Awesome. So now 8 times 1/8 is going to give me that X, which is what I want. And this
Hello.
is 28. Dominic, I'm going to send you to Miss O'Brien's room if I can figure out how to do that. Hang on a minute. Dominic, where are you at? There you are. Okay. So that's what it looks like in a picture form. Over here, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to multiply by the reciprocal, which is the same thing as dividing by 1/8. Okay? But none of us like dividing fractions, do we? So we're going to multiply by 8 here as well, and that's going to give us X equals 28. Okay? Did anybody do it different? Nevaeh, did you do it different? No? Okay.
Nope.
All right. Did the picture help some of you that were confused on what we were doing? If the picture helps, by all means, draw the picture, okay? For me, it helps me see it. All right. So today, we are going to work on some scale drawings. And let me find it. There it is. Start over again. Here we go. Move this over to your screen. And that way I can see all of you. Yes. Yeah, I'm talking to myself. Shoot. Present. Thank you. Okay. All right. What do you notice about this scale drawing? What do you notice?
It's an odd looking shape.
It's an odd looking shape. I agree. Okay.
It's not a polygon because there's a curved shape. I mean, curved side.
There's a little bit of curve here. Okay.
It kind of looks like a paper and someone cut a shape out of it.
Okay. They took a shape out of it. I agree.
It looks like a boot.
It looks like
If you
a
put it
boot,
sideways,
but
put it
it's-
sideways and you connect all the lines to the rest of the lines, it looks like a boot.
Okay. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am. Got your hand up. Tell me your name. Yep.
Addie.
Okay,
But-
Addie. I'm still trying to learn names, sweetie.
It says 1 inch and 4 feet,
Okay, what do
But-
you think that means?
the length or the height could be.
Okay. Anybody else got a clue of what that 1 inch and 4 feet might mean?
It's the scale.
It's the scale. So what is that scale telling us? Rebecca, what do you think?
I think it means like it shows like if you like had a ruler and if you like used it,
Mm-hmm.
and then if you multiplied each inch by 4 feet, you would get the lengths.
Okay, okay. Anybody want to bounce off of that, add to it? No? Okay. The 1 inch does in fact mean that 1 inch on this drawing represents 4 feet in a room. This is a drawing of a room. This is a floor plan. This curve
wait.
right here is the door. Okay, so this is a room, and 1 inch on this drawing represents 4 feet of the actual room. Okay, so if the longest wall, is 15 feet long, how long is it on the drawing? So we're going to use a table to do this. I want you to use tables because it's going to help organize the information. So in my table, I'm going to have the drawing and the actual. Okay, and then I'm going to put the scale that I'm given first. So I'm given a scale of 1 inch to 4 feet. And then I'm going to put the information I was also given, what I know. And then I know that the longest wall is 15 feet long. Is that the drawing or is that the actual? The 15 feet, the drawing or the actual?
Actual.
Cool. So that's why I put it there. Now I'm going to ask myself 4 times what equals 15? Well, if I'm not good at my multiplication tables, can I just take 15 and divide it by 4?
No.
Yeah, and that's going to give me 3.75. Chloe, question, or were you going to tell me 3.75?
Oh, I was gonna say 3 3/4, so 3.75.
Awesome. So if I multiply this side by 3 3/4 or 3.75, what do you think I have to do over here?
The same thing.
Multiply it by the same.
I'm going to multiply this side by 3.75. So on the drawing, this length right here, this long length right here is 3.75 inches because that represents 15 feet in the bedroom or the room, whatever this is a room of. Okay? So see how the table helps organize that information for you. I really want you to use the table, okay? All right, what do you notice about these scales? Anything? Wayne, do you notice anything about the scales?
They multiply.
Okay. Addie, what do you notice?
They're going by fours, like 1 is 4, 2 inches 8, and then a half is 2 because it's a half of 4.
Okay, okay. Rebecca?
They are all the same ratio.
They are all the same ratio. So guess what? They're all the same scale. They're just written in different, they're the same ratio and they're just multiplied by the same thing. Do y'all see that? Okay. So if a wall is 8 feet long, how long would we draw that line on the drawing using 1/4 of an inch to 1 foot? So once again, I have the drawing and the actual. I put the scale in that I was given, 1/4 of an inch, which is the drawing, 1 foot, which is the actual. And then I'm also given 8 feet long. 8 feet long, is that the drawing or is that the actual? That's the actual. Okay, then I look at this and I say, okay, how do I get from 1 to 8? Oh, that's an easy one. I multiply it by 8. If I multiply this side by 8, what do you think I have to do over here? Same.
Multiply by 8 too.
Okay, and 1/4 times 8 is 2 inches. So I would draw that 2 inches long. Okay. Would it be the same length if we use the scale 1 inch to 4 feet? So let's look at it. So I'm going to start out with my table, 1 inch to 4 feet this time, and I still have 8 here. So how do I get from 4 to 8? Chloe?
Sorry, multiply it by 2.
Multiply it by 2. So what do you think I'm going to do on the other side?
Multiply it by 2.
Multiply it by 2. So I'm going to end up with that same 2 inches. And we're going to go back to what Rebecca said. Rebecca said these are the same ratio. 1/4 to 1 is the same thing as 1 to 4. Okay, therefore it's going to give us the same drawing. All right. So the size of the drawing is influenced by our choice of scale. So what do you notice about these two drawings?
Their scale copy.
Okay, Chloe?
So for the first one, at 1 inch equals 4 feet, but the second one, it's 1 inch equals 8 feet.
Okay. What else do we notice? Addie?
It's like it's smaller, but the numbers on the other one are bigger.
Okay. So why do you think that's true? This one is much smaller than this one. Why do you think that's true?
Because it shows it.
Okay, 1 inch here is going to represent 4 feet in the room, but 1 inch here is representing how much of the room? 8 feet. So that's what's making it smaller, because each inch represents more of the room. Okay, so when you're deciding on your scale, you have to think about, am I going to make it the picture so small that I can't see any details? Or am I going to make the picture so big that it's not practical? You've got to kind of find that happy medium of where the scale works best. Okay, does that make sense? So we can go along with what Addie said. This number is bigger, but the picture is smaller. All right. Okay, so now we're going to go to Canvas. And see if I can get a mouse to work. There it is. All right. So this week's playlist, we're still working on the same standard. We'll finish that up this week. This week we will create our own scale drawings and we will explore scales without units. And by the end of the week, you should be able to say, I can create a scale drawing at a given scale when I know the actual measurements. I can explain how different scales affect the lengths in the scale drawing. I can determine the scale of a scale drawing when I know the lengths on the drawing and the corresponding actual lengths. I can use scales without units, that's going to be tomorrow, to find scale distances. And I can explain the meaning of scales expressed without units. Our vocabulary is scale drawings. Remember, those are two-dimensional representations of an actual object with corresponding details. Scale is what we've been using today. 1 inch is 5 feet. That's a scale. Corresponding, the corresponding sides, what lines up with the other. We are going to use lessons 9 and 11 for learning purposes. There are 3 activities, I think, in both of them. Then you're going to do the practice problems for some practice and showing mastery. On Thursday, we're going to do a review. I've assigned you quiz 1, quiz 2, and a unit test on Khan Academy just for some extra practice if you choose to do it. And then for evidence of learning, we're going to do a project that's going to be due on Friday. You have a choice of a scale drawing of a room or a scale drawing of a picture. I'll go over that in a minute. And then on Friday, we are going to be taking a test, and that test is 85% of your grade. Okay, so that's this week's plan. On Wednesday, we have academic support from 5 to 7. And now we're here on Monday. So we're going to click on Monday. Let's demonstrate what we know about scale drawings. Choose one of the activities. So we have a scale drawing, which is where you are going to I'll let you, you can read this on your own, but here's the materials you will need and how you will do the project. This is how I will grade it. So those are rubrics so you know what the expectations are. And I included some cartoons that you could use if you wanted to. If you want to find something else, as long as it's school appropriate and it's got some color in it, it's fine. And what you are going to do, you will attach a copy of the original where you show your grid, and then your scale drawing, which you do on a bigger piece of paper, and you redraw it using the grid. Okay, and you'd be surprised, even if you're not an artist, how close it will end up looking. So these are some examples of people's. This was Mickey Mouse. And the snowman from
Frozen.
Frozen. That's Olaf.
Okay. Oh, I couldn't think of his name. I knew somebody else would know it. So see, here's the little picture of it with, they put the grid on it, and then the paper has the bigger grid, and then you just draw that. So that's one of the projects. The other one is to take a room in your house that has furniture in it. So I don't want you to do the bathroom or the pantry. I want you to do a room. You're going to make a floor plan of it. And like you will, here's the grading rubric. And both of these projects, when you get finished, you screenshot and you submit them on Canvas. They are due on Friday. You pick one of them and it is due on Friday. Okay, questions on that? All right, and you can get started on that today. Then you do not have to submit it today. It's set up that it will let you go to the next thing. All you had to do was view it. You don't have to submit until Friday. So our discussion question is, what should you be looking for to determine if a polygon is a scaled copy of another polygon? Please answer in complete sentences, and then I would like you to respond to one other post respectfully. Start with, I agree with you because, or I disagree with you because, or have you considered? Okay. When you finish that, looks like I got some of those to read. Then our learning goal for today is let's create our own scale drawings. Our targets are, when I know the actual measurements, I can create a scale drawing at a given scale. I know how different scales affect the lengths in the scale drawing, and I can determine the scale of a scale drawing when I know its length. Here are your lesson notes. There are 3 activities today, and here are your practice problems. Here is the video of me doing the activities, and they are really kind of fun activities. I want you to make sure you use the tables. The tables are going to be your friend in this activity, okay? And then here are the slides that we did at the beginning of class, and I will put a video of that up there hopefully in the next half hour. Okay, questions you have for me on today's work? All right, so you can stay on. If you need help, I will be happy to help. If you are more comfortable zooming out and working and then coming back in if you need help, that is an option as well.